Hello everyone. So I thought to share a short video. I was talking with my daughter this morning, and we were talking about fantasy animals. And the question is, so what is the lesson here in our service of God, right? Why would it matter whether a certain fantasy animal is real or not? So I brought the example, a famous story of the phoenix. So there was a sculptor that passed away suddenly, and his wife it was a phoenix that was commissioned for Hadassah Hospital in Jerusalem, and his wife wanted to know, was asking the Lubavitcher Rebbe, is this something? She was told by rabbis that maybe this is not a Jewish symbol. Maybe the phoenix is not a Jewish symbol. And should she continue or not? So the Lubavitcher Rebbe, quoted from Job. This is from chapter 29, verse 18. And the Rebbe quoted, "I shall multiply my days like the chol." So what's the chol? So the Midrash explains that this was an animal that lived 1,000 years and then dies and then is resurrected from ashes. So this seems to be the idea behind what people say is the phoenix, right? Could be that this is what people refer to when they say the phoenix. Obviously, what it looks like, that's imaginative. It's, no one presumably knows what it actually looks like. But this is people imagine what it would mean for an animal to live 1,000 years and to be resurrected from ashes. So I was explaining, okay, so this is very interesting. So here we took an animal that presumably before now seemed to be from the world of fantasy, from the fake, just made up. Someone's imagination one time was dreaming up of a creature and came up with this idea of a phoenix. And now we're saying, well, there seems to be maybe a source for it. So I was explaining that every created thing, everything in creation has a song that it sings to God. From the inanimate to the, it's called the domim, tzomeach, chaya, and then medaber, which is us, we were the speakers. So domim was the inanimate, tzomeach is the plant life, and then we have chaya, the animals, and then we're the speakers, that God gave us the ability to speak and to articulate. But all of creation is singing praises. How does it sing? Maybe it doesn't have a mouth. My daughter asked, well, a plant doesn't have a mouth. A rock for sure doesn't have a mouth. This is the soul. Every created thing, the inanimate, the plant life and animals, they have a nefesh. They have a soul to them. So the soul sings out praises for being alive. All of creation is singing praises to Hashem. Thank you for giving me life at every moment. And so we have King David in his book Perek Shira, the Song of Creation. So he enumerates some different examples of different songs, the different elements of creation sing. But all of creation sings songs to Hashem, sings songs to God. So now you have a question. If it's from the world of fantasy, just made up, then maybe it doesn't have a song, right? This is not something that God made. This is something that someone had an idea and he came up with he or she came up with some fantasy book, right? And you can buy it on Amazon, but just made up. It's like a dream reality. Not even a reality, it's just a dream, just a movie, just something that's totally made up. But if this is something real, right, then it has a song. If this was a real creature, and a midrash, there's different ways to interpret a midrash. This is a midrash that the Rebbe brings. So let's say for argument's sake, this chol was a real creature. and this what we once thought was a mystical creature lived for 1,000 years, and then was reborn out of ashes, died, and then was reborn out of ashes. So if this was a real creature, then it had a song to Hashem, it had a song to God. So now, this is a way of waking up from the fantasy that we're living in, right? From this before Mashiach comes, before the redemption, we'll have been seen as dreamers, right? So if we're waking up from a dream, what's a way to wake up from a dream? Something that was previously seemed to be a dream, seemed to be fantasy. Did we see? No. This is something that is actual, maybe a reality. Not only it is a reality, but it itself is singing praises. So what does the fantasy try to do? It tries to say, no, this is not real. This is not real. But we come and say, no, maybe this is real, right? And this is true for all of the world, all of creation. Is that the scientist and the world in general says that this is, God forbid, no one runs the show. This is all, maybe we're living even in a matrix, right? Maybe this is a fantasy world. Maybe this is some virtual simulation. But we come and say, no. Bereshis bara Elokim asher shamayim v'haaretz. Hashem created the world, the heaven and the earth. Right? That we know the reality is real. And if we know the reality is real, right, then all of reality is real. Anything that's reality. So then we have to discern what's real and what's fake. So just to say that fantasy is just to write it off, that's also not helpful, because people like fantasy. Why do they like fantasy? There has to be some truth to it, right? Like there's a mythical creature around. It was probably perhaps crafted around the dinosaur. We all know which creature this is. I'm not going to say the name because it's also an idol, a worship of in Eastern religions, right? But we all know this thing that kind of looks like a dinosaur, and but it doesn't. The dinosaurs don't presumably breathe fire, right? So we have an idea. But a dinosaur was an actual creature. How do we know that? Well, we have both explanations in the Torah, and we have fossils, right? So you have scientific, and then you also have, but what is our governing body? What do we turn to know if something is real or fake? We turn to the Torah, and the Torah is always going to coincide ultimately with science. We may not understand those correspondences, and we may have to develop them. And that's what Rabbi Ginsburg has done for well over 40 years with his Torah Academy, is come up with these correspondences and explain how the source for Torah and the relationship between Torah and science. So again, just to finalize, so Kabbalah of fantasy animals. Why does it matter? Why am I talking about this? If it's real, then it's singing praises to God, and that's a very beautiful thing. But we have to all know that we are all waking up from this fantasy world. We all have this song within. We all have each of us has this song, and the leader of the generation, the Moses of the generation, is able to identify the song in each person. So we all have that song that we're singing, and we have to connect to that and to sing our songs. Sing our songs to God, and know that we ourselves are something real and full of potential and alive. So have a wonderful day. Thank you.